I've noticed some articles have been appearing in the newspapers relatively recently, towards the end of July. I mean, here's one in the Times, Sunday Times. A French researcher appears to have discovered the exact spot where Van Gogh painted tree roots before apparently shooting himself on July 29, 1890. And it describes it as the exact spot of Van Gogh's last work before his suicide is found. And here's here's another one. The New York Times, stating quite boldly, a clue to Van Gogh's final days is found in his last painting. A researcher says he's uncovered the precise location where the artist painted tree roots. It says here, Van Gogh spent his final day working on the painting Tree Roots, according to researchers. Well, I mean, which researchers? According to researchers, Tree Roots was definitely one of his last paintings. I mean, there are those who like to think that Crows Over the Wheat Field, or whatever it was called, was his last painting, which it wasn't. I mean, it says here, we now know what he was doing during his last day before he was shot. Now, researchers at the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam have endorsed the finding. On Tuesday, the director of the museum attended an unveiling of the spot. Louis van Tilburg, a senior researcher at the Van Gogh Museum, said in an interview that the finding was an interpretation, but it looks like indeed it is true. It looks like what is true? It looks like that was where that painting was done. Might well be true, but he's certainly not supporting the claim that was the painting he was working on the day he died. I mean, here's he said, Mr. Van der Veen said he just happened to have a postcard of that spot on his screen at home in Strasbourg, France during lockdown, when something clicked in his mind. The postcard was reminiscent of tree roots. Well, there's the postcard, and there's the painting. I mean, I'm not convinced by that, but that's not the point I'm making. That does not support the claim that this was the last painting he ever did. You know, it was one of the very last. It might have been the penultimate one, but the point I'm making is, what's agreed on is that Van Gogh went out to work that day. He was seen leaving the Auberge Ravou, where he was renting a room at the top of the house. He just had lunch there, I believe. He was seen leaving with the tools of his trade, you know, his easel, his paints, brushes and canvas to work on a painting. When he came back that night, wounded, he had none of them with him. None of them were ever found. So where does the Tree Roots painting fit into this? Did he come back carrying the Tree Roots canvas with him but nothing else? No, there's no report of that. Was the Tree Roots found in a field somewhere? No, it wasn't. So the Tree Roots might well have been one of his very last paintings, I'm sure it was, but it wasn't the one, it can't have been the one he was working on just before he was shot. So it might have been an unfinished one that actually he was still working on one way or another, but not out in the field that day. There is of course another version of events.